Hi, Luann. Sorry, I'm a couple seconds late. I was flipping through my paper pad here looking for the cover, and I couldn't find it. My room is a disaster up here, from crafty weekend, from release to putting Christmas stuff away to spring box. It's just nuts. It's crazy, crazy. So anyway, so I was looking for that and I couldn't find it. So, and I was watching Sean. He was live for a few minutes here, and I know he's finishing up. And anyway, so I'm back. I hope everyone had a fabulous weekend. We're going to get right into it. I'm going to say, remember that Monroe Madness is going on right now, and there are free with your for any order, you get a scratch off coupon. If you get a purchase of $50 or more, there's a ladybug layering stencil. At the $100 level, there's the spring plant paper pack. At the $150 level, there's the cut it up gold scissors. At the 200 level, there is the basic alpha wooden stamp, and at the 250 level, there is a trimmer scoreboard. And also through tonight, you can also go in and buy or get a free squeaky clean. All you have to do is pay shipping. If you don't order anything else, you can put a squeaky clean, unscented squeaky clean in your cart, and you just pay the shipping. So I just wanted to let you guys know that is good until tonight. Hi, Lori. Hi, Brandon. Any links that I have posted down below are affiliate links, which just means if you place an order, I get a small little kickback for that. So it doesn't cost you anything extra, and I appreciate that. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my camera quick, my down camera. All right. We are going to use the fabulous Stamp Club Premium Extra Fabulous stamp set. And I also have the SVG. I have some stamped out. This is because Sean said something about black and white chickens last night, and so I had to make a couple black and white. But I had a little epiphany. I was watching a Christopher's class earlier today, an older class. I was rewatching a class, and I'm going to totally steal. Hi, Mama. I'm totally stealing his idea. So I hope that's okay. This is all his idea. We're going to start with a piece of cobalt cardstock. I did link most of these things into and I did post a link into my collection, but I may not have them all because I kind of added a few things here, but for the most part, everything is linked. And in the description box, I will add them tomorrow if I add anything else. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this down I'm going to cut this down to an A2 size panel. So 4 1/4 by 5. I'm actually going to do 2 because we're going to use this cardstock for 2 different card panel starts. You were reading and the dog hadn't started barking, I'd be even later. Oh, well, you're just on time. We're just starting, Kate. I actually have like 2.5 chapters left in my book. So I would like to read tonight too, when I'm done with this live. But I had to take a break because I was watching my Iowa Hawkeye girls play. So this is the framed floral paper pad from last month. I really like this paper pad, so I wanted to use it. This is kind of my inspiration. Yes, I am taking the design from him and his idea, but I am taking actually a play off what Sean mentioned with the black and white chickens, because these chickens kind of remind me, for some reason, of a China pattern. So we're going to go blue and white with a pop. Yeah, it is a cute stamp set, isn't it, Lori? So we're going to choose 3 pieces of paper. And I am going to go with one of the crazy ones here. I think we're going to do this one. We're going to do this one. And then I'm thinking we're actually going to do this one. We're going to do all 3 of these because then those tie in together. And if you took the Halloween Treats, hi, Shalana, Halloween Treats class, I believe that's why this was from the card in there. All we're going to do is we're going to cut down. This is at 3 inches. I'm going to cut down 1.5 inches. I believe that's what it was. Well, that's what we're using tonight. 1.5 inches. And then I'm going to cut 1.5 inches off each of these. So these are 6. So we're just going to move them over 1.5 inches. And then we're going to do another 1.5 inches. And then I'm going to grab a piece of glitter stock. Yes, I mean, we're going to kind of play on that a little bit with that. So, we'll see how many cards we make. I am going to go ahead and grab a piece of sapphire glitter stock. I have not grabbed that. This is one thing I did not link below. And I'm just going to cut that down. And then we need 4. So this one isn't going to be so much the China pattern because it's got the other colors, but the other cards we're going to have are going to be mostly blue and white, I believe, with maybe a pop. And then we need 4 squares that are 1.5. So I'm going to go ahead and cut them down. I did not pre-prep any of this. 1, 2. He might have done 1-inch squares, to be honest with you. I think he might have. We might be changing this. Oh, no, look at that. So I got 4 squares. I think he did 1-inch squares. We're doing 1.25 inch squares. So our card might be a little bit different. So actually what I think I'm going to do is just cut this in half. And I can layer them together. We should have used that pattern. That's all right. And cut that in half. Because this will go pretty quick. Cut this one down. I mean, you can do so many cards from one sheet of paper with this basic pattern that I'm using. I'm sorry if I'm off screen just a little bit. I promise I'm cutting down to 1.5 inch squares. I'll move that up a little bit. So cut 1.5, and then I cut it down to 3. I'm cutting it in half at 3. Layering up together and then cutting it 1.5. Now, you could totally, the glitter stock is fabulous and I don't use it enough. And so I was putting the glitter stock in Mustache, the crafting app that my friends have out that you can use to help keep track of your supplies. And I was like, we got to add a little bit more of the glitter stock. And so I was like, I need to use more glitter stock. So we got 4 of each. So now we're going to take our card panel. Now, Christopher went and measured like half. Like you could do this directly to your card base. He made it, right smack dab in the center. He used this right. Let's see. There's a 0 side. Nope, this isn't the right rule. This is my other rule. I don't know where my Brutus Monroe ruler is right now. Let me see. There. Nope. I had it sitting here. I don't know what it is, but if you have the Brutus Monroe, there it is. I knew I had it here. You can, line it up so that it's equal on each side. And then you can find your exact center. I'm not going to worry about it too much. We're just going to eyeball it, okay? Because it is. And we're just going to do, and I'm going to use liquid glue, except that I keep forgetting I have not refilled my glue press still. Now it's been, 2 weeks? I will do that tomorrow. We're just going to use some liquid glue because then I have a little bit of wiggle room. And we're going to put them in. And like I said, we probably could have done a diamond shape. Maybe we'll go this way. So I'm going to change up his card a little bit because he did his portrait. We're going to do ours landscape. Like I said, I'm just eyeballing it. It doesn't matter to me which it is, which way it works. And you can use as many or as few tiles as you want. And I'm just going to eyeball each one like a little distance apart. I'm not going to worry about them being perfect. And I think the big thing I want to do is just make sure that none of the same colors touch each other. Okay. So I'm going to go off the page a little bit. So like I don't want to necessarily I don't want to put this one here. We're going to put this one here because then see we have all 4. So you could actually go in and do your 4 if you wanted, but I'm going to go ahead and we'll put this one down. You could go with any side of this paper. Like we could have done this side instead of this side. I apologize. My camera is definitely wanting to autofocus a lot tonight. Okay. And then we'll just grab another piece of this glitter stock. There's really no wrong or right way to do this when it comes to the patterns. Other than, I think it does help to have 4 because then you, and those aren't quite straight. I think, sorry about that. I think I turned my volume up. Hold on, turn away if you get sick. I'm gonna make sure my volume is all, there we go. I turned my volume up when I put my camera in my stand here. Oh, I don't want to use this one yet. Let's use this one first. Oh, that's wrong. I didn't want to do that one. Yeah, this one first. We want to put this one here. And then instead of this one, which I already put my glue on, I'm just going to save that for another. I'm going to use this one. And then I think what I'm going to do, just to tie in so we get that little bit of extra, because they've all on here twice except for this one, is we're going to put it in and we're going to cut it off and we're going to put it in the corners. Now you could totally try to like make sure you really line that all up with a ruler, but it's a card. Oh, thank you. Yes, it's a card panel. I should have used that one. I already put the glue on, but I got to make sure I line this up. How do we line this one up? We're going to do it like this. Yep. Like this. That's going to make it look right. Okay. And I'll peel that off. I'm going to go ahead and snip the, okay, there's a lot of glue on some of these because I used way too much more, but you could totally use these pieces. I'm just going to stick them off to the side over here because that glue will dry and I can stick them on another card later on. Cut these pieces off. Now these are tiny little squares. You do not need to keep them. I give you permission to throw them away. However, I am going to save this tiny little piece to put in right here because I only need a tiny little piece. So we're just going to use the corner. I'll just put some glue on there and we're going to line it up right like that. And while that piece is drying, let's see, I'll cut off this other little spot. And then I'll cut this piece this way. I want to make sure it's nice and dry, or at least adhered enough, not dry, but adhered enough. And when I cut it off. All right, so there. You could keep going. You could tile the whole front. You could tile less. You could use more. Like I said, you could use smaller squares. But that is the basis of our card. You could also do it this way, which works too. We might switch it up. I might still do that. All right, I'm gonna put those little pieces off to the side. I want to clean up just a hair here because of the glue. Grab my squeaky clean. Hi, Sean. Hi, Cordelia. Thanks for popping over. I am gonna finish watching your live because I was very interested in what you were doing. But I figured if I stayed, I'd forget to go live myself. So I thought I'd better get back to work. Okay. So Sean, I was telling everyone that this is kind of a playoff. I did make my black and white chickens, but I didn't do anything with them. I am going to play off of that tonight a little bit now. Of course, I didn't measure that up purposely, but that's fine. It's fine. We can change it. I saw, when you said black and white, I said, these chickens remind me of a, China pattern. So I decided to play off that. Now I'm going to see. That's a little bit too far off. Let's see what we got here. I'm thinking I'm going to use a little bit more. We're going to use a piece of this as the chunky raven. And this is a total. It does look like a quilt block, Mom. And I think Luann was the inspiration for this card during our class because Christopher talked about Luann being in the class and that she quilts. I assume that means you quilt, Luann, since he said that. And like I said, it does kind of look like a quilt block. And I saw that today and I thought, oh, I should do that with my pattern paper because I really like this pattern paper. So I've got a 1-inch strip here. And then I'm going to cut it down to like, I don't know, I'll say 3. Let's do 3. It just cuts it in half. She does. Okay, that's what I thought. That's how I understood that. And then we're just going to take this piece. Now, this is where you can play around with it. You can go this way. You could go this way. You can go however you want. I originally was thinking of going this way, but now I'm changing my mind, and I think I want to go right like this. So I'm going to attach this here. I'm just going to add some glue. Now, the one thing I did not do last night when I was prepping for this class for tonight is it did not stamp out any of my sentiments. I have them all pre-SVG cut out, but I didn't stamp them. I just got my chickens. And then we're just going to put a little chicken right here. And then we'll figure out a sentiment. But I do want to color him in a little bit. So we're going to, I'm going to do this chicken. I like this chicken. So I'm going to grab a piece of scratch paper. Yes, it is. And that's the thing. I think the big key is making sure you have enough pieces before you start so that you can lay out. So this is, my mom is a quilter. She's here. Hi, Mom. She will take pictures of her quilts and she will have them laid out. And then she's like, what you think? And then I'll be like, I screenshot it and I'll circle this one and I'll circle this one and say, swap those two. And then these two. And then sometimes I call her and say like, okay, do this. So that because, you know, when you do it yourself, you don't always see if they're side by side or like if you have 2 darks next to 2 lights and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to grab some blues here and just do some quick coloring. And I'm just going to use this little piece. This is Perfect Blend. That is too light. Perfect Blend paper. And we're just going to color our chicken to match. That looks like a good blue. I'm not going to color him all the fun little colors all over. We're going to just color him in different, you know, he's going to be blue, but maybe we'll do some shading where the sections are. And like I said, this is kind of where I did not prep this at a time, but we're not going to do a lot of fun coloring, like super detailed. I would really like to try to find a color that that looks really close to that, this R4. So we're going to add him here and we're going to make his little, this is the wattle. Is this the crown? We'll color him in. Now you could pop a color. You could make a like a yellow and orange chicken and just pop it on there and he would just pop off of there. And then I think what we're going to do, I probably should have done one with this color. Now that I'm thinking about it, but it's too late. I've already colored it. And then done 2. Instead of this, I should have done this in the dark royal blue. And I am just going to put that in. So it has been a crazy weather week here in Iowa. We have had some kind of hot days, I guess I should say. It's hot, but not so hot as in like humid hot. That looks good to me. It was supposed to be possible bad weather, which I will say it looks like I'm going to be okay. But if for some reason I run away and disappear, it's because a storm did come because we were supposed to be a possible strong thunderstorms. But I don't think it got warm enough in my section of Iowa. I think what I'm going to do is we're going to actually play on this one right here. And then we'll play on this one right here. Just to break up that color. Like I said, I'm not going to do a lot of shading or anything because I don't think you need to. Yeah, I thought so, Penny. I thought you were supposed to have bad ones. He looks like the Kellogg roaster. Comb, thank you. Yes. So then, and you could pop this guy up. I'm going to just glue him flat, but we need a sentiment. So let's do that first. And of course, I've got all my other, let me get these things off the way. So yeah, I was die cutting while I watched Walter and Sean last night, all sorts, and see Walter, or Sean, if you're still here, I cut a bunch of black ones out, which I had some that didn't turn out when I was heat embossing because I wasn't doing it right. I could totally offset this just a little bit, which I'm thinking might be kind of fun. So I might do that, pie in a little bit of that black. So let's do that. So I didn't like the heat embossing on these. That's why I didn't use them. But I did want to show you something here. I wanted to show you the difference. Actually, I'm going to show you the difference between these two. Do you see the difference between these two? This one is super bright white, and this one isn't quite so white. The difference between these two is that this is our embossing ink with the alabaster embossing powder. This is our alabaster pigment ink with the alabaster embossing powder over the top. So you get a clear crystal, more bright white on the darker cardstock when you use the white pigment ink. It's my perfect way. Oh, I know. I love them just plain too, to be honest with you. I don't need them colored. I wanted to show this difference. And then I was just playing and you inspired me to do it. And I did want to have a little punch of color. We're not going to color all of them tonight because I think that it's fun to play with them. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue. This is some old Raven ink or Raven. So if you don't have any, if you have Raven still use it, you can use that. Otherwise, the licorice, I just used a Raven because I have a bunch of it still. Yeah, I'm going to put that almost like this. That's going to cover that guy up. Yes, and I usually do too. Don't ask me. Well, I didn't do it last night because of the way I set up my stamps. I was using a sticky mat to do my heat embossing, which I should not have done. I should have used my paper and my tape because I could not get them off the sticky mat without touching them. And then I was messing them up. So that's why those ended up being like that. So, and I was starting to rush because it was getting late and I was getting tired. I think we are going to do this. You are extra fabulous. And we're going to do it just like this. Well, maybe we'll put our chicken up to the top here a little bit. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to heat emboss this. So let's grab our cobalt paper. I'm just going to do a snitch. Yes. It's like I said, it's the 90% of the time, that is how I do. It's the same thing with my black. I tend to do black with icicle because it just works out better for me. I mean, I love the black embossing powder. It just doesn't like me. So I'm going to show you that. Let's do anti-static powder tool. Sorry for the shaking of my table. I was kind of debating about switching my table back to sitting. Sorry, I disappeared for a second. I had to plug that in because I did not do that. But I really do like standing while I'm crafting, especially when I'm live. So I think the thing I need to do is I need to find a really good, where did I put the sentiment? Anybody see it? Oh, there it is. I need to find a really good chair because I do need a back on the chair. I have a stool here for when I'm crafting, not live or not videoing, but I like to have a back. So once in a while I can sit back. So I'm on the fence about switching my desk back to a low desk or figuring out if I can find a way to get a small desk that I can set up that I can sit at once in a while or set up like and sit. Like I don't mind if I could find a small little desk I could set to my left here and then I could sit. So I can't believe that we're already into the first full week of March. We daylight savings time tomorrow, I believe, correct? That is like the worst time. I hate daylight saving time. Oh yes, this blue is beautiful. This is cobalt. It's one of our new chromatic reserve release that we got last fall. It is beautiful. And I can't remember what I was playing with a couple weeks ago that's what drew my attention this. And I'm like, oh, blue, 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 blue. It's so pretty. All right, so I'm going to keep my heat tool off. Just keep it moving, because if you, I do know if you heat set white too much, you'll burn it and it will turn into that icky color too. So you just want to heat till it's shiny. We're going to let that dry for just a second. Or not dry, but cool. And then I will, oops, wipe it. So yeah, this weekend I have so much to do. I have to tape. If you guys haven't been watching or you didn't know, I do have the spring. Sorry, I'm just wetting this down a little bit. Yes, I licked it. Nobody needs to, nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to lick my card. I do have the spring countdown box videos up. I think day 6 was live today. And then I have to film day 7, 8, and 9. I'm just lining this up with the edge of my trimmer like I always do. There we go. Almost messed that up. And then I'm going to go ahead and just trim it this way too, because this piece up here is nothing, so I don't need to save it. Not quite. There we go. And then I have a couple other things I need to do. I'm going to trim this down. I'm going to use, sorry, I can't quite get on camera here. I can turn this. I'm, like I said, lining it up right at the edge of my, you could totally use strips. I have die strips that would be easy to do too, but this is nice and quick and fast. All right. And then we've got our Your Extra Fabulous. And then we're going to just kind of put this down over the top here, just like that. And actually, maybe we'll put him on top. I think I'm going to burn it over just a hair. No, I'm not. Yeah, just a hair. Just a hair. So. You even made one, Luann. Yay! Which day did you make? I don't have any sneak peeks, so I can show the ones that I've made so far if you have not watched, or I can do a quick spin at the end and just show you what I've made. That makes me happy. I'm glad to hear that. And trim that little bit extra off. And we're just going to pop this guy right on here. And I think I am going to pop him up. Let's grab some foam tape here. Just because I think he'll be more fabulous that way. And you know, you are extra fabulous. All right. There we go. Trim off our little edge. The washi tape. Okay, yep, that was a good one. That was, I don't know if we ended up, did we get the same washi? Because I know not every single washi or gift is exactly the same. Some of them are different depending on the gift of the day. This was my washi tape that I got. Did we get the same color or something similar? All right, so we have card number 1. You can embellish this if you want, but look at all that fabulousness. So thank you to Christopher Allen for the design and to Sean for the idea. All right, we're going to move on. We are going to use, where's my square? I had that other one. Yep. We're going to kind of do the same thing. A different tape. Okay, well, I want to see a picture of it. Same paper, but we're going to choose a busy paper, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to use this one. Let's just kind of peek. So I lost the cover. I have the front. I have all the cover is somewhere in my craft room. I don't think I want to use the frame. I want to use that busy pattern. Yeah, we're going to use this one. I like this busy pattern. Okay. And like I said, totally a Christopher Allen design. We are going to go ahead and I'm changing it up just a little bit, of course. I am going to grab my blending brush and some actually, I don't want to use no diving. I want darker. I'm going to grab the Midnight Snack. Simon, if you end up watching this, I need no diving in the Stellar Inks. It's one of my favorites. And yes, I need no diving in the Stellar Inks. So please have that in the next round. I appreciate you had the one that is, oh, thank you, Luann. Got it. Not going to be, it's going to be kind of hard to see, but we're just going to darken the edges just a little bit. Sorry for the shaking. It's just what happens when you blend. I mean, my table's blending, of course, not my table's moving. At least my camera is kind of sitting still. So that's a good thing. If my camera shakes, that's what really can get you seasick. We're just doing a little bit blending around the edges. It's not so much a batter. You're not really going to see a whole lot of this. Now, the one thing I would like to have done, and I did not do, and I don't know if we're going to do it tonight. Let me see. I would like to do this a little bit different. I really don't want to use the black chickens, but we can. Just because. I think we're going to. All right, so this is our base. Oh, thank you, Missy. All right, so then we're going to take this piece and we're going to trim this down to 3 inches by 5 1/4 or 5 1/2, sorry. Because we're going to cover up almost the whole panel. Okay. So here's the preface of our card base. And you could do this with almost anything at all. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab that, because we're going to pull in some more of that black. I'm going to go ahead and grab that black chunky glitter stock again. I'm going to cut that down. Oh, I don't know. I'm just going to cut down whatever is left here. I don't even know what that measure is. I'll tell you in just a minute. It's about 1 inch. It might be just a hair bigger than 1 inch. And then I'm going to cut it down to 4 1/4. I know I'm off camera, but I'm just cutting on basic squares, basic colors. And this is going to go right here. And that's what we're going to put our sentiment on, which I have not stamped yet, but we will. Okay. I feel like that doesn't look straight. Okay. And then my thoughts are, well, if you were in California, you would think it was something else. I missed it. I'd think it was something else. Oh, the shaking. Yeah. You know what? We used to tease my grandpa about that because, he lived in San Diego, and we would ask him. He said, my chair rattled, my Pepsi would move. So this is the play on Christopher's from his Halloween card. We are not going to color these in. We are going to choose 3 chickens here. Roosters, chickens. And we are going to just layer them. Actually, I want to use this one because this one looks a little better. And then... depends on which ones you want to use. We could do, we can do 4. I think we're going to do 4. Let's do this guy, and we're going to do this guy. So we're going to layer this guy down here at the bottom, and we're going to kind of have them stacked on top of each other. And then we've got our tiny little chicken here, and then you can type, yeah, we're going to do 3. I don't like that. I'm going to take that guy. And we're just going to pile them up on top of each other like this. Okay? And then I don't have any of the eggs, but you could totally put a couple of the eggs here. But I think this is basically our card like this. No, it does not need to be colored. And I'm thinking we're going to do trying to decide. Feeling excited for you is what I'm thinking. Feeling excited for you. But we are going to also stamp this down. But I'm going to do the black this time. Maybe. Yeah, we'll do it on black. Nah, let's do it with white again. Let's do it with white. We'll keep adding some of that white to it. I know this is not a straight piece of cardstock, but I'm not going to worry about it because I can use my trimmer to cut it down. So we're going to clean our stamp off from before. I'll stick that off to the side here, stick it on my paper. Grab my next sentiment. And feeling excited for you. Well, maybe I don't want to use feeling excited for you. Let's do You've Got to Be Chicken Me, because this is a lot of chickens. And I think it's kind of funny because You've Got to Be Chicken Me that they're all standing on top of each other. Okay, that's my thought process. Yep, shaking earthquake. Sorry, it didn't go there right away. I did after when I had to think about it for a second. Yep. No, it's funny. Growing up in Minnesota, in northern Minnesota, I had a science teacher who actually did tell me, that we live on a fault line, but it just is one of those that never quakes. So that's probably a good thing since I'm in the middle of the country. I don't know how good it would be as if the middle of the country shook. And what would happen to those on the other sides? All right, we're going to do just a little bit more right here. I'm just being very gentle to press this down. You've got to be chicken me. All right, get this guy off to the side. Some more alabaster. You could do alabaster sparkle, which would give it some sparkly. You could do pearl, which would give it a nice little pearl flavor. Or obviously you could use icicle, which would just give it a nice shine look. But I like to do the alabaster with the alabaster. Heat this up. Here we go. You've got to be chicken me. And while that is drying, or cooling, I always say drying. I think I get that. Christopher says that once in a while. Oh, you're very true, Candi. Extra fabulous rock. Thank you. I forgot to tell you guys, those of you who watched last night, Walter kept talking about the funky chicken. So this is in honor of Walter, and I'm going to put this in honor of my daughter. And I mentioned that in high school, I had to laugh because in high school, and I promise you, I'm not doing the whole thing. I can't because first of all, I'll shake the house and scare the dog and probably knock us all offline and knock my whole desk over. But I was a cheerleader and we had a dance called the Funky Chicken. And my daughter also, she had that dance too. And then we actually had two Funky Chicken dances, but we had one that was very, very popular. And my daughter had the same one. And I taught it to her because both of our schools were the same mascot. And then I was the cheer coach while she was in school. So they got to learn a lot of my school cheers in my local high school are from my high school days. And anyway, so the first one is, let me switch my camera around here quick because that one's a little easier. So the one bad one was it was, oh my gosh, I remember, oh, how funky was your chicken? And then you repeat, how funky was your chicken? How loose is your goose? How loose is your goose? Come on, all you fans. Shake your caboose. So I just had to say that one. And then the other one we had was, come on, everybody, get up and get kicking. Come on, everybody, and do the funky chicken. But what you did is you had to slap bring your knee up at an angle, slap your foot, do it to the other side, and then you would do both feet and jump in the air. Oh my gosh. I will tell you, one time in high school, the kids wanted us to do this cheer so many times that I could barely walk the next day. My thighs were hurting me from jumping in the air. That's why I said I can't do that right now. Yep, Lori. Your nursing home ladies have some difficulty with coloring, but they love sending cards. We came up with a fun, don't color the images. Exactly. You can let them color the image. You could also send somebody with some colored pencils, if they wanted. But yeah, coloring. It doesn't need to be. And I'm going to show you, we're going to do something else so that with colored color, so you don't have to color it. And this would be fun too. You could do this one, tie it down a little bit, but we're going to do, oops, I almost did it wrong. Oh, well, we'll do it this way. I'll fix it. Wasn't paying attention. The funky chicken thing made me just crazy. But no, and Laura, because you've probably seen the funky chicken dance at our school, that one where you do the up and down dancing. I promise you, I am not doing it. I am not doing it because I'm too old to be jumping like that anymore. So we're going to put this over to the edge just a little bit. Okay. And then we're going to use this piece here. Get this glued down. And that's just some fun little tie. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to sweat this right in half. You've got to be chicken me. And we're going to do it like this. Okay. But, sorry, I shouldn't put that in my mouth so you can hear me. I'm also going to trim just a hair off both the side and the back, because since I trimmed it right through the middle, I have a little bit. You've got to be chicken me. Or you gotta be chicken me. It's not got to. And we're going to do that. Okay. So let's glue our chickens down. And I think we're going to start with this guy. Oh, maybe a little entertainment. Nothing to do with chickens. I am searching that song for last night you were thinking about. Have you figured it out yet? Oh, that's awesome. A rooster would be fun for a school mascot. You know, you could crow. You'd be like, I can't crow. You don't want me to crow, but that would be funny to crow. Reminds me of Robin Williams. Doesn't he crow like when he played Peter Pan? All right. Now, one thing you could do a little differently is you could glue this one flat. You could this one with some little bit of foam tape, and then you could put this one on double foam tape so that they were each different layers. I'm just going to go ahead and glue it flat this time. Yeah, I couldn't think of what song you were thinking about there last night, Sean, other than the regular shout. All right, we're going to glue those down. Oh, yeah, I know what song. Blister in the sun, go wild. Okay, that's probably as much as I should probably sing, right? So we don't get in trouble. I know. That's, Sean, I got to tease you. You're a little young. Because that's an old, just kidding. I mean, that song, I feel like that song was out when I was in like college. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. That makes me feel good though, because I'm like, I feel like, yeah, that's why I wouldn't catch that one, because I know what song you're talking about. Yep. I think I had a sorority sister that loved that song. See, I don't know if I remember that part of it because I wasn't really at any of the functions I would have gone. But I do know that all of a sudden it's quiet and then you just do. So, all right, here's card number 2. We have 15 minutes, so I do want to play with the other idea I had off of this. But I do need to do, I hope you guys forgive me, I got a little die cutting. I have some Perfect Blend paper here in my main squeeze Lori here, friends. I have that. She got me a fabulous die set that I asked for from a company that, you know, sells like catalog-y things. And I'm going to go ahead and cut. So you can use any arch die, but I am in love with this one because our friend, I believe my friend Colette is the one who introduced me to this one. And I'm going to use it. I'm just going to use the regular old arch though. I'm not going to, oh yeah, there is, okay. So I haven't even used it yet. I'm just going to cut a piece down. I'm going to try to get it straight because then I can use, it's not going to be super straight. It's fine. I can use this as a background if I want, but I'm going to cut this down quick. Okay, so we are close to the same age. I would never guess that, Sean. I would have guessed you were like 10 years younger than me. So there you go. I would never have guessed that. That Heather and I are younger than you. Not by much, but by a little bit. So yeah, my friend Colette had this last fall at a retreat and I asked her about it. And then I asked my friend Lori to get it for me because I loved the little detail on this. Yes, it's been fun. Okay, so arch dies have been great. All right, let's grab my little mini Misty here. Pull this one out. So, oh, you just like blew my mind, Sean. You really did. Jeez Louise. Now I feel like even like really old because you're I thought you were so much younger than me. Like, in a good way. You look younger. You have more energy than me. Fabulous. That's such a compliment. Oh. I mean that as a compliment. I hope you take it that way. I am going to grab, I love this one chicken right here, but I'm going to use these two little ones right here. And this is kind of a plan. I saw your card last night, Sean, I think. You did that ink smushing card. We're going to kind of just play along that a little bit. And then I need an egg. They do not, but I'm pretty sure, I don't know if we had a background stamp with Unity, because we do have some background rubber stamps with Unity that one time that had the chicken wire. And then we don't have any embossing folders. We had some a long time ago, but we do not have them. We carry some others. So a piece of pattern paper would be fun with chicken wire on it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to heat emboss, but we're going to do my favorite way of heat embossing. To use Simon Hurley's inks. I'm going to use the Midnight Snack. So here's a good way. You would not have to heat emboss. This would be a good way for the ladies that don't, for not coloring, is you could color these images with a colored ink. But I like to heat emboss too, because I think that's fun. And some people try to figure out, how did you do that? And then I have my icicle. You could also use the fairy dust, but the icicle is perfect for this because it's such thin lines. Oh, my fan is blowing it everywhere. That's how warm it is here today, guys. I had to turn my fan on. Okay, hold on. Blow that off a little bit. And then we're going to heat set this. So you can see it's on a heat set. And I'm just going to do, okay, so which came first, the chicken or the egg? Just kidding. Wipe these stamps off here quick. You're getting some much needed love. I have lots of things that I want to play with this release. I got some of, I don't have everything, but I have some things. And then of course I am going to grab your Happy Hatch Day stamp set. I do like that idea. We're going to stamp that up in here. I'll make sure it's straight. I don't think I'm going to heat emboss this time. I'm just going to stamp it out just to play on a different hue of blue. You could totally do a different color blue. If you were going to actually do the true China version of this to make it look more China-y, I would probably use the Clear Skies. But I wanted to go with the dark blue tonight. And then we need a piece of paper. And I think I'm going to totally go with another one of these pattern pieces of paper. Let's use this one. Got the blue. And then I think for just a tiny, tiny bit of color, I am going to grab, this is the Stamp of the Month Feathered Path. I'll be using this later, but I'm going to use this and add just a little bit of something here. And I'm not even going to put ink on my brush. I'm just going to use what we had earlier. And I'm just going to kind of go around this edge and kind of go off just a little bit. Just add a little bit of something. Just a little bit of something. Maybe we'll put in a little bit right here too. Just for a little feathering. Blue definition. Yes, if that's what you're talking about. If I didn't catch that right, I apologize. And then we're just going to use this. We're going to use this little base. You could probably, I should probably add just a little bit of blue down at the bottom too. Just a hint. Otherwise that white is pretty stark. Not gonna worry about my desk getting wiped off because we're gonna be covering up the rest of this. Cut this down. We're gonna cut this down to 3.75 by 5. That is just a measurement I know when I'm trying to do things. And I'm going to grab another card panel. Now, like I said, this is probably good distance, but I'm gonna put this down right like this to get that nice white. We've got this nice little, and then it's up to you if you wanted to add some more. Well, I'll probably add a little bit of gems because this is going to be kind of just a basic little card. Add some embellishments if you had some. If you remember, there was a die of the month quite a few years back that had chickens. If you were lucky and you are enough to be subscribed to that way back when, that was when I was first on the design team, or the second year I was on the design team. So you could look for that, and that would coordinate very well with this stamp set. I'm not going to pull that out since it's not available, but we've got that. And then I think I'm just going to add a few little, let's add a little bit of splatter. I'm just going to grab some blue aqua pigment, just a tiny bit. You could totally use some shimmer splash. I don't remember if we have the blue or not. I haven't looked in a while. But I'm going to wet that down just a little bit. Just a little bit of splatter. And then I'm going to, thank you. I got a little splatter on my chicken, but I'm okay with that. I just tore the, okay. And then we need just a little bit of bling bling. And I believe I have some, these are violet shifts. I have the blue shift crystals. Oh, and I know if you guys were watching my videos that I found my pokey tool. It was in my box and I went crafting last weekend. So I'm just going to grab a few dots. Maybe I'll put one here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That looks like enough for me. Cover my glue just because, you know, don't forget to cover your glue when you're not going to use it right away. And I'm just going to grab my little pokey tool and stick down some embellishments. And there we go. We got our cards for tonight. Before I go, I will show you some sneak peeks if you haven't had a chance to watch the Spring Fling box. If you have the box and you haven't opened and you don't want to look, please close your eyes. But if you have the box and you don't care if you look, or if you didn't get the box and you wanted to know what was in it, I will pull that in quick. And I don't know, did I get that on straight? Okay, so we've got 3 cards for tonight. 1, 2, and where did I put number 3? Here's number 3. So we're trying to limit them. They were very fun cards to make, with a little bit of a throw to, like I said, to Christopher and to Sean for the inspiration. All right, so now for the Spring Fling box, for those of you guys have seen, I'm going to go through them very quickly. Here was day 1. Here is day 2, which was the stencil. I'm going to have to remember because I don't remember. I might have these backwards. This might be day 3. I don't remember if it's day 3 or day 4. It was the wax seal stamp. I'm missing one. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Sean. Here is if this is the next, this was day 4. The shaker mix was day 5. Day 6 is downstairs. That's why I'm confused, because day 6 is in my book. So I can't show you that one. It's my bookmark. So, and this was inspired by an Altenew video I saw where she made a see-through shaker. So I appreciate you guys all so much. Don't forget your squeaky clean if you would like some free squeaky clean tonight. It is through tonight. Oops, sorry. Next week, it looks like I'm going to be playing with the Happy Spring paper pad. So I hope to have that fun for you. Don't forget Monroe Madness is going on through this weekend, or I don't know if it's tomorrow or if it's through Sunday, but there's free gifts at different levels. So appreciate you guys all so much. Have a fabulous weekend, and I will see you guys next week. Okay, bye now.